you have been watching It's Your Call for any amount of time, you'll know that Ed Rendell has been a frequent guest on the show. We talked to him as he was the governor of Pennsylvania, did a lot of work during the presidential campaign in 2000 when you were DNC chair, and of course mayor of Philadelphia. Even before that, the district attorney of Philadelphia. So you were involved.
You were hardly born.
But I wasn't working in Philly at the time. But even some of the cases that you worked on then are still reverberating today.
Like
so you've had a huge impact over these last 4 decades in Philadelphia. I can say the twinkle comes in your eye, though, more so than any other time when you get to talk sports. And we all see you on Comcast Sportsnet, pre and post the Eagles game. Is that just a dream come true for you to be able to do that?
Sure. I remember the first time I did the post-game show, about an hour in, I sat there and said, we're getting paid to do this? I said, it's what guys do, sit around and talk about football. It's amazing.
The only thing that's missing is a cold beer, right?
Absolutely. But you know, the interesting thing is, what a great time to be a sports fan in Philadelphia. You've got the Flyers at the top of their game. The Phillies, probably the best overall team in baseball. The Eagles, as exciting as any team there is to watch. And the Sixers improving, and we've got the Union. I don't know if you saw any Major League Soccer.
Major League Soccer.
And the Union is great, and the stadium's terrific. It's a great time to be a sports fan.
One of my first jobs in sports, because a lot of people don't realize I actually started in sports before news, was working for Major League Soccer, and then for the MISL, for indoor soccer. I absolutely love soccer. We're so pleased to see it come back to the Philadelphia market, and it's doing so well.
Doing so well.
Yeah.
More and more
it's
kids
great.
are playing
And women's soccer too. I love the women's soccer league, so that's great. So that with the Eagles, everybody, in this town, the thing is you have 2 good games, and everybody's got you to the Super Bowl. Yeah,
and you have 1 bad game.
Right, and you're a bum. You should get fired. But looking at this team compared to recent years, how do you characterize it?
It's not as strong as the 2005 team that went to the Super Bowl because, number one, the defense is not quite as good, and number two, the offensive line for that 2005 team was terrific. And our offensive line, under the circumstances, has done okay, but Michael Vick still gets beat up far too much. But this team is more exciting. This is the most exciting pro football team. You've got to go back to, I think, the San Diego Chargers when Dan Fouts was the quarterback to have an offense anywhere near as exciting. Okay,
I told you. You can see it. The little glint comes in his eye there, and he's talking about his beloved sports teams in Philadelphia. So it begs the question, do you think that might be something that you would do post-governorship?
Well, I'm going to continue on with the Eagles pregame and postgame, and I might do a little more for Comcast Sportsnet. It's funny, somebody emailed in that show and said, if you ever did become president, would you still do the show? And I said, I have no intention of running for president, but if I woke up one morning and found myself president, I would still come back on Sundays and do the show. I'm sure I'd get criticized for that.
Yeah, I think a little bit.
But when I became governor, Lynn, I was criticized for doing the show on Sundays.
Yep.
And I said, come on, guys, you can come to the Capitol on Sundays. You can shoot a machine gun down the halls of the Capitol on Sundays, and you won't hurt anybody.
Right.
So you telling me that I can't do the show for an hour and a half?
Yeah, so that's, people find a way to criticize no matter what, right? So looking ahead to 2011, we know that you're going to stay involved with Comcast Sportsnet and with sports. Is there something personally that you'd like to accomplish or set a goal for yourself?
I'm writing a book, and it's going to be an interesting book about my life in politics and sort of make it a funny book, but sort of teach by using humor. But I also want to stay involved in the public dynamic. So I'm going to continue on as co-chair of Building America's Future. That's the organization that's intent on getting us to revitalize our bridges, roads, dams, levees, broadband systems, electrical grid. I'm co-chair with Mayor Bloomberg of New York and Governor Schwarzenegger of California. And then I think I'm going to be a contributor to one of the networks, because a paid contributor, one, because I need a paycheck, but two, because I want to be in a position to influence the public dialogue. And that will, I think, keep me in a position, that and my work for Building America's Future.
Okay,
and I'm going to continue teaching as well.
I assume that we'll be seeing you go head-to-head against Sarah Palin at some time then.
Well, we'll see.
We didn't talk about her.
Actually, Sarah and I were good friends when she was governor of Alaska. I was president of the National Governors Association, and she was very nonpartisan in those days. It's only recently.
My goodness, how things have changed.
Absolutely.
Was she rightly criticized for leaving her post as the governor to take on new opportunities?
I think so, because at
You
the
couldn't
time
see yourself
that Sarah
doing that.
resigned, all of our states were facing huge crises because of the recession. And that's when they need strong leadership the most. To make the cuts, you have to need strong leadership. And she shouldn't have, in my judgment, and I like her very much personally, but she shouldn't have left.
It's 30 seconds. Is she a viable candidate in 2012?
Sure. I think if she runs, she wins the Republican nomination.
But can she beat Barack Obama?
You got to win the nomination first.
Okay, one step at a time, right?
Absolutely.
Well, listen, you have to make me a promise here. I'm going to put
I'll
you
be
on
back.
the spot. Okay,
I'll be
I was going to
back.
say, you mentioned a book. So if you got a book to tell, you got to come to It's Your Call and tell us all about it. Will you
And
do it?
I'm going to give it's going to be $29.99 for Philadelphians, $25.99.
Always the politician. Ed Rendell, thank you so much for being here. Always wonderful. If you were unable to get to it and you want to ask the Gov a question, email me at lynn@lynndoyle.net. Have a great 2011.